No nonsense gin drinking. All gin, no nonsense.
Hello gin lovers, welcome back. I'm Bobby Freeman and today, my friends, feast your eyes upon this delectable little fellow which goes by the name of Kyoto Dry Gin. Now you can probably tell by the look of the bottle and by the name of it, this is actually a Japanese gin, and this is something that seems to be on the rise at the moment. And lots of people have been recommending that I do Japanese gins. In fact, this one was recommended by Sanjin and Alma, who are two of my patrons, and they think it's absolutely amazing. So I'm very much looking forward to getting stuck into this and trying the old Japanese gin for you today. So then, let's see what they say for themselves, shall we? Now, this is a Japanese gin. I do like to do the accent from where the gin is from. However, fairly certain if I did a Japanese accent, I would get taken off YouTube. So I'm just going to do it in my own accent. Kyoto is inspired by tradition and is distilled, blended and bottled in Koyoto. Our gin is made in a recognizable dry style, but with a distinct Japanese accent, unlike this video. Kyoto Dry Gin is created with Japanese botanicals. So, blimey, there's a few tricky ones in here, but I'm going to have a go anyway. Yellow yuzu from the north of Kyoto, hinoki wood chips, bamboo, gyokuru tea from, from the Uji region, and green sancho, which is Japanese peppercorn berries. And that, my friends, is an excellent example of an Englishman trying to speak anything remotely like a foreign language. Now, this is interesting. Listen to this. It's bottled at 45.7% ABV and uses a rice spirit base and peerless water sourced in the famous sake brewing district, Fushimi. Now, the reason I say that's interesting is it's 45.7, which almost puts it on a par with the number 3 gin, which, as many of you know, that was my number 1 gin of last year, and that is bottled at 46, so it's only just shy of that, and that was excellent. So I would say this is shaping up to be pretty damn good. And it also says we separate the botanicals in our gin into 6 different categories: base, citrus, tea, herbal, spice and floral, and then we distill each category individually. Then we blend them in perfect balance and create the distinct Kinobi flavour. Now, I don't know about you gin lovers, but that to me sounds like there's so much sort of uniqueness going on in there and stuff we haven't heard of before. I think this is shaping up to be something pretty spectacular. So I'm setting the bar pretty high for this one, even though I'd sort of only know about what I read about it. But I say we've fannied around way too long and we crack the fellow open. So then, we have no cork, as you can see, so we don't have a cork taste today. A cork taste? I don't usually taste the cork, but you know, that could be a new section of the show. So let's get it in the old glass, shall we, and have a lovely little sniffer. I often use that word, even though I'm pretty sure it's not actually a word. So here we go. Nose is going quite literally in. Very different to what I have sniffed before. And as you know, I have sniffed many gins on this channel. Let me have another go, hang on. Yeah, it's almost doesn't smell, it smells like gin, but it smells like gin in a very different way than I have sniffed it before. I'm not getting a huge amount of flavours, but I'm getting a kind of a sort of acidic sort of tone to it. Almost kind of like almost a winey sort of essence, I would say. And maybe that's something to do with the fact it's rice sort of based rather than grain, which makes it, I don't know, they make rice wine, don't they? I don't really know, I don't know much about wine, but yeah, very curious. But in the meantime, let's try it with the old tonic, because after all, it is gin. So about that much, I reckon that looks good to me. So I say to my friends, Kenobi. By the way, I don't know if there's any sort of affiliation with Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi gin. I doubt it, because they probably wouldn't be able to afford it. But anyway, let's try it with the tonic first. So here we go. Kenobi gin. I say to my friends, cheers. Oh, wow. Oh. And for those of you who don't know what those noises mean, wow, let me try and put it into the English language, because wow, it really, much as the smell was very different to gin I've drunk before, the taste was massively different. It's still gin. It's still definitely gin, but good Lord, I'm kind of taken aback. It feels like just something, just hyper intelligent, sort of futuristic gin. It's futuristic gin. Boom. Let me elaborate on that slightly. It's sort of, when it hits the mouth, you're not really sure. You're not really sure because it's so different. You're kind of a bit like, that's not what I'm expecting. But once you sort of mellow into it, it really sort of seduces you. It's very, very light and sort of fragrant, very delicate sort of flavours. I would say sort of kind of citrusy, but very, very light. But it doesn't say it's weak. They're definitely not weak, but they're just light and delicate in there. But there's a sharpness to it, a real sharpness when it hits your tongue. And almost, it's very difficult to describe. I think the sort of the base sort of flavour in there is one of tea, because obviously one of the taste flavours was tea. And as you know on this show, I always like a gin that's got tea in it. The old Beefeater 24 over there. I think the In Love You Elephant Poo gin had tea as well. Have I got any others? I had a honey and tea one the other day. And the Mason's Yorkshire tea as well. Goes excellently, works very, very well, makes for a very sophisticated gin. So I'd say that's the kind of the base flavour you get in there. But then sort of out of that base flavour, you've got kind of that sort of a wallowing fog in the bottom, I would say, but sort of protruding and sort of firing out from this fog, a tiny little fireworks of sort of half sharp citrusy, half kind of herbaceous and almost floral, and they sort of burst and leave a sort of a sharp floralness in there as well. And as those all sort of settle together, you're left with kind of a beautiful sort of sweet acidicness, but then there's a really late aftertaste that sort of just comes rushing along afterwards of a kind of a sort of delicate light fruitiness and with a hint of sweetness as well. And you may think I'm going over the top. You might think, geez, this guy's so pretentious. I'm going to turn off and watch, I don't know, a cat video or something. And I wouldn't blame you, but that I have to go to. The flavours are so complex in this gin. I honestly have to go to that length to kind of portray them to you so your ears can translate that into something what a taste would be like. And what's interesting is, because as I said, it's 45.7, was it? 45.7? Yeah, 45.7, which as I say, is a pretty pokey, quite a strong gin. It doesn't taste super strong. It just, everything in it just tastes delicate. Like, I don't know, like one of those sort of Japanese sort of, one of those lantern things they have that's sort of like the sort of very fine mesh paper, but like sort of a network of tiny little sort of sticks and stuff to hold them together. What a ridiculous analogy that is. But it's kind of what is coming into my mind, and sort of, you know, I'll put it out there. If you want it, fine, take it. If you don't, just send it right back. So hopefully you've got the idea there. Sort of I painted enough a picture in your mind. It's extremely complex, extremely unique and extremely original. You can tell it's something a little bit different. However, and let's not forget, let's not sort of gloss over the point, it's good. It's very, very good. And I am extremely impressed, not only with the taste, but also with the beautiful bottle as well. So you're probably thinking to yourselves, this thing is going to cost a lot of money. Well, you'd be right. Because, my friends, I can reveal to you the only slight downside of this gin is it is a little bit on the expensive side. It's not crazy ant flavour £200 expensive. It's just over my top bracket for smaller distilleries, which is £42. And to give you an idea, that is about $57 or 47 euros. And that is, well, as you know, it's just poked through my threshold for the lesser known distilleries. However, if anything was going to, it's only just over the threshold. It's not busted it completely, it's just sort of pierced it slightly and poking up like that, if you can imagine such a thing. And if ever I was going to find that acceptable, then this, my friends, is it, because you are literally buying something that you will not have tasted before, and you are enjoying gin in a way that you've not tasted before. Certainly for myself anyway, unless other Japanese gins are similar, I don't know, but this is one of the first ones I've tried. I tell you what, it is damn good and extremely impressive. So guys, to sum up, I would say if you've got a bit of spare cash in the bank and you want to try something new, you can definitely do a lot worse than this one. And I tell you something, if this is anything to go by, I am very much looking forward to trying the other Japanese gins that are out there. So keep your eye on this channel, my friends, because Japan is going to be coming to you a lot more often on this show. So guys, what a video today. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have making it. If you have, as always, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my show, press the little like button on the video, and of course the bell icon so you get notified when all my other Japanese gin videos come out. And if you want to support the show, head over to my Patreon page or press the old join button below this video. But until next time guys, take care, stay safe, thank you to all my patrons, and keep drinking the gin.